I knew it. It's always the biggest one.
Okay, I know exactly what this is.
What is it? People who are like sexually deviant in this ways, like, do they have to go to jail or do they just have to go for therapy? Like,
You don't have to have sex to be sex
Yeah.
positive.
Yes.
You know.
Hi everyone, I'm Afshi.
I'm Harith.
I'm Lit.
I'm Jasmine.
And welcome to the Woke Up Show.
how are you guys feeling?
Good.
Feeling good?
Yeah,
Feeling
excited.
nervous?
Excited.
Ready to talk
Nervous.
about sex?
Yes.
Always.
For sure.
Always. So we're very excited today to talk about sex positivity. We have three amazing people here with us today. And before we dive into the conversation, maybe you can introduce yourselves.
Yeah, so I start first. My name is Jasmine King. I am a sex positive advocate, and I love just having conversations about sexual empowerment and sex positivity, especially from the lens of Southeast Asia and Malaysia.
Yep.
So I love doing that. So
I
this is
feel
perfect.
like that conversation in Malaysia is just starting. So it's like very nice to see that you're actually like in it and doing it. Even when I first saw your platform, I was like, wait, what? There's someone like this in Malaysia? That's crazy. I remember following you and I was like sending it to all my friends. I was like, look at this girl, look what she's doing. This is so cool. Yeah, I really love it.
Thank you.
What about you?
I am Harith. Harith Akma, host of the comedy podcast. I make a lot of jokes about sex. And
Nice.
I'm here today.
We love some sex jokes. You gotta keep them coming, okay?
I'll try.
And my name's Lith, and I run a sex toy shop. But at the same time, also, it's a sex positive platform, so people can feel safe in the, it's a safe space for people to talk about sex, have discussions, because we don't really get to do it
Yeah.
in general. So
Yeah, I think I really love your platform. Like, first of all, the visuals, guys, you need to check it out. It's like,
Thank you.
it's crazy. It's so beautiful. I've never seen anybody like show sex toys in an artistic way the way you do. And also like on your Insta story, it's so fun to read people just being silly and
Yeah.
talking about sex in a way that's like just open.
Mhm.
Yeah,
people really
so-
love that.
Yeah, it's nice to see how much people are willing to share. Because when I watched like on the Erosu Insta story, they always put all these different sex stories, and people would be like so honest that you might feel like if it was me, I'd be a bit shy, but I love it. Like it
Yeah.
makes me like it even more. So, all right. So how did you guys kind of get into this like sex positivity? I know Harith feels like he didn't mean to be sex positive, but he.
Accidentally,
Accident-
yeah.
And I feel like that's maybe because it's so innate to you, you know?
Yes. Well, it's just Malaysians. A lot of it's taboo. So
Yeah.
when I dare to make jokes about this kind of thing, I think it's very new.
Yeah.
And I do it in BM
Yeah.
sometimes, and I think it shocks a lot of people.
No, but I think we want to shock the system.
Yeah, there needs to be a shock.
Yeah. But how did you guys like come across sex positivity? Because like for me, I think I started to find out about it in like 2 years ago. Not even that long ago. I started listening to a podcast actually that's called Fucks Given. And so it was just these two girls and they're just best friends and they love talking about sex. Like they were like, we talk about it together all the time. And so they invite all these people and they ask them like all these different questions. So it's like the format is there's like 5 questions, like your first fuck, your last fuck, your best fuck. Like it's just so funny.
Yeah.
And then my mind just opened because there are people who are like they talked about people with disabilities having sex, the like wide variety of sexual expression, and I was just like, whoa, it's not just like what I thought it was. There's so much to it, and it just really like opened my mind that it doesn't have to be something we're shy about. It's something we can really just talk about.
Yeah, I love that you brought up Fucks Given because I love this show. I love like they started off with just like a page or YouTube video and then went into podcasting. I think that was one of the reasons why I started my podcast. I wish someone told me because I realized that we don't have a lot of podcasts here in Asia, especially Malaysia, talking about sex positivity. So I love that. So I mean, for me personally, when it comes to sex positivity, I think it has a lot to do with my experience. I remember being very young and I had a lot of questions, but nobody was willing to answer my questions, right? I had questions on masturbation, about sex and everything, but then everyone suddenly is just shut up. Like they
it's just like, oh my god, no, let's talk about something else. Don't talk about that. That's very dirty.
But then when you turn on TV, it's everywhere. Like when you turn on MTV, it's very sexualized. We live in a sexualized world, but nobody wants to talk about it. And I'm like, but now as an adult, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's talk about this.
Let's talk
It's so
about
important,
it.
especially
Yeah.
consent, especially about boundaries.
Oh my god, in this
Like, so
country,
important.
we need to talk about it. What about you, Lith? I feel like you have like an interesting you have a sex toy company. That how did you kind of transition into doing that?
So my background is I'm a fine artist first, and I make art about feminism, about female pleasure in general, like because I want to normalize that. Because when we talk about pleasure, it's always very male centric.
Oh my God, yes.
So and because I grew up in a very conservative environment, I went to Chinese school, and then we never talk about it. And even if we ever talk about sex, it's usually to shame someone.
Yeah.
So I grew up in that kind of environment, and when I went to college, I realized someone opened my eye about feminism, and I went like deep down into like the internet, and I just started like looking up and like educate myself. And then like, because I'm an artist, but like, art isn't everyone's cup of tea. You can't really just try to start a conversation with everyone or like try to normalize
it also
something.
might not be as accessible for everyone.
It's not accessible at all. So it's only a certain group of people.
Yeah.
So like, one day I was just thinking like, how do I make this more accessible? How do I make it more like approachable? So I was like thinking, because I follow a lot of sex toy company on Instagram from other countries like US and UK. And the way they're doing it is like, they're just educating people, empowering people. And I want to do that. And there's no such thing in Malaysia. I mean, we have people who sell sex toys, but their website is just...
And even, like the dodgy shop in Mid-Valley, it's just like, it's everything
so
in there is for male pleasure. Everything in that shop is just for boys. Like, it's just to like make girls look hot so that guys want to fuck them. Like, I feel like that's everything in those shops in Malaysia.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to one before just for fun. They do have like vibrators, lingerie, but the whole shop setting is just super dodgy.
Yeah.
And, like anyone who walks in and out, like, everyone would just like stare.
Like, oh,
you feel like you're doing a crime.
Exactly.
Like walking into the store, and then most of the time, like all the toys are like at the back side of the store, and then you're just like, oh, it's like normal stuff. And then as you go in, it's like, oh, it's like a different vibe. And it's true what you said. It's always like, it's more towards like the male pleasure. And they do have like vibrators and stuff like that, but it's not really shown. And also the person who's taking care of the shop, they don't really care.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, they don't care.
world.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Maybe they even judge you themselves, like,
Yeah, it
hey,
kind
you
of
work
feels
here,
like
come on.
that. Yeah, it's like you should be like, no, you should buy that, you should buy
Yeah.
that. But they're just like staring at you and you're like, should I
Yeah.
not
In
be
your
here?
front store, are the dildos in front of the door?
No, because mine is purely just online, so we don't have a storefront.
But if you had one, the door handles would be vibrators,
Oh my god,
right?
that would be so cool. Just a dildo, like just two of them.
Just two of them, exactly. But how do you guys feel like in Malaysia, like sex positivity kind of plays out? Because I always feel like me and my friends, like we all, and even all of us here probably, we live within these like urban bubbles where we can talk to our friends about sex. Like I will send my friend like a 10-minute voice note going into detail about my sexual experience, and they'll just like receive it and laugh and we'll talk about it, but they won't be like, oh my god, what the fuck? Why are you sending me this? Why are we talking about this? But I know that there's a lot of people where that is their experience, where they try to be like talk to even their peers and their friends, and they can't talk about it, let alone like their parents and the educators in their schools and all of that. Like, how do you guys see sex positivity in Malaysia?
I think for me, it's like I live in a bubble where everyone around me is so comfortable in talking about things like this. So like when I step out of that bubble and like you realize the majority of people are actually, they're not open to talk about things like this. And I think like sex positivity, like in Malaysia, it's such a small group of us. Like we are always just around each other. Like if we walked out of that bubble, like you realize that it's really lacking. Like there's no conversation about it at all. I mean, we don't even have proper sex education, let
In
alone
school,
positivity.
yeah. And I think that that's a big misconception that people have about sex positivity, is that it's just like, we just want to fuck all the time. Like, I mean, yeah, we do, but we also want people to be like educated. Like the biggest thing is that schools need to have like comprehensive sex education, and it shouldn't start when you hit puberty. It should start when you're a kid. You should teach children that like consent is so easy to understand. Like, you want to give this person a hug, they say no, you say okay, and then you go on, get on with your life. But even that simple idea is not taught to children, and that's why you have grown men and women who feel entitled to other people's bodies because it wasn't told to them when they were children.
I think like the most important thing first, because we're talking about sex positivity, is to really like, what does sex positivity mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like we get into all this like, okay, sex positivity, but so my question to you, I guess if I can pose a question,
Yeah, of
is
course.
what does sex positivity mean to you, to all of us, right? So for me personally, when I think about sex positivity, I think about being empowered, being not, that education is not a fear-based education. It's about teaching young people, teaching children, teaching adults about what is sex, how is sex, what is pleasure, talking about our bodies, right? The most fundamental thing is just understanding our bodies, naming it the proper names, not saying things like kukucha or like pee or like whatever, right? Saying it as it is, like penis or vulva, naming it properly as well. Like, and then having this conversation about like, how do we navigate healthy relationship? What is healthy? What is unhealthy? Safe, unsafe touches? Talking about child grooming and all these things. So many things about sex positivity and sexual education. We're so consumed with this idea of sex education being that it is only to teach people about having sex, but it's not. It's more than that.
It's so much more.
So that is my definition of sex positivity, is to empower people to make informed decision on their sexuality. So what about you guys?
I think you nailed it with that one, though. I feel like that's pretty much the same for me. It's that feeling of empowerment.
I want to echo that. In Malay, the word for genitals is kemaluan, which means shame, right?
What?
Yeah, so I would prefer it if you call it like something like kebanggaan, where you're, where you're proud of it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
My Malay is really terrible.
It's really deeply rooted in the culture to feel shame for any sort of physical desires you might have. I think sex positivity is about owning it. Being proud
owning,
of
exactly.
it.
I love that. It's like, fuck the shame. Let's own this and let's feel like this is not... Because I always like to believe that so many people think that like sex is something that you deserve to have. I'm an adult, I have a girlfriend, I have a boyfriend, whatever, I get to have sex. But sex is a responsibility and it's a privilege. If you get to have sex with someone and they give you your body, you need to realize that you have so much responsibility. They're literally giving you their body. That is something so big. And I just feel like because of the way we've been kind of brought up and the way we're taught, that people don't see it that way. That's one of the definitions for me, at least, is to perceive and not perceive, to really understand that sex is a privilege. It's not something you just get to have. And that's something for me.
And not just sex, intimacy, being with someone, being in a relationship with someone, spending time with someone, it is a privilege that you're giving. And, and people need to also, we also need to understand that they need to respect us too. That, most of the time we're thinking like we're giving ourselves to people. We're giving ourselves like, no, it is a privilege for them to be in our presence. It's a privilege for them for us to spend time with each other. And how is that from a male's perspective, kind of about sex positivity?
We all turn our heads to you.
No, the reason I think I accidentally became sex positive is because I get to witness a lot of fuckboy culture among my circles. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the healthiest young man either when I was about 15. So witnessing the kind of emotional trauma that can cause from not being considerate of someone's time and presence woke me up a little bit. And then I thought, I gotta learn some things. And that's why I like Jasmine stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I really liked how you said that, because I was recently having lots of conversations with my friends about this, and I was telling them like how for so much of my life I always felt that if I'm having sex with someone, that I'm lucky to have sex with them. I should feel I'm so lucky that this guy or that I find so cute, he finds me cute too, and we get to do this. But then I was like, wait a minute. He's lucky to have sex with me. Like, why did I have this narrative in my mind that I'm the lucky one? You're lucky that you get to share my body and you get to have all this, like, I don't know why I thought that, but I guess it's a way we've been sort of like ingrained over the years to kind of think that getting someone to have sex with you, especially as a woman, is you're lucky to be able to do that.
And it's very valid. I mean, to be honest, whatever you're feeling about, I'm lucky to have this person in my life to kind of share, is really, really valid. But I think what's important is you're able to balance it out.
Yeah.
Right? You'll be able to balance of like, yes, I'm lucky to have this person, but also this person is lucky to have me.
Yeah.
So with that sort of balance, so, if something happens or whatever, if your insecurity, if someone crosses your boundaries or your consent, then you're able to say like, hold up.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is not right.
Yeah, exactly. But, I wanted to ask you guys, when you guys were growing up in school, did you have any sex education?
the sperm goes in the egg.
Yeah.
That's
I remember in my high school there was a biology book and there was like a picture and I remember I was like, what am I looking at? It was like the penis in the vagina. And so I literally didn't know anything about sex. I thought I just went in and it just like stayed like that. Like because nobody told me. And then I remember my teacher was like, okay, just next page. And we were all kind of like, we're not even gonna talk about this. They just
skip through.
They just completely skipped it. And my sex education came from my best friend at that time. She's like, no, she doesn't just go in, it goes in and out. And I was like, oh, okay.
Did you guys remember like Form 3 science? I know if you guys went to like SMK.
Yeah, I went to Chinese school, so it's very different.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah.
Did they talk about it at all?
We did have like a special like after class, I remember, but it's separated. It's girls in a hall and boys in one hall. So for girls, we talk about period, of course. That's the only thing they ever talk about, and they'll tell you that when you get your period, you can get pregnant. And
You
that
can get...
you
Oh,
can-
after your first
yeah.
period, yeah.
And then they don't talk about how sex works. They just tell you that, oh no, when you start getting your period, you can get pregnant and you have to be careful about it. They don't talk about safe sex. They don't talk nothing about sex, all about anatomy, your body, and how
Reproduction.
puberty, basically. That's about it. And for guys, because we had conversation afterwards, and for guys, they just thought about, how the penis works and like, how when you sleep, you get ejaculation.
Wet
How it
Yeah,
works.
things like that.
Did
Things
they
like
give
that.
a manual?
Step by step guide.
They don't teach you like how it works. They just tell you, okay, it happens, and
Yeah.
that's about it.
I see.
Yeah.
I was talking to this one person and she was talking about how it was an example that she brought up about how kids are told like you will only have babies after you're married. Right? You will only have babies after you're married. And what happens is that there are some cases in secondary school or primary school saying like, oh, if we do this, we won't have babies because we're not married.
Oh my god.
So it's like this whole misconception
Yeah.
about only if you are married and so I was just like, that's interesting. Like,
Did anyone get pregnant while you were in school?
yes. So I grew up in Sabah, so I'm from KK.
Okay.
And I'm from this small district called Penampang, just a few minutes outside of KK. And we have, we always hear of teenagers my age of 15, 16, always leaving school. And then straight away we would go like, oh, okay, yeah, she's pregnant. She had sex and she's pregnant. And then after that, it's them going into, getting married, right? Because to tutup malu of the
Yeah.
family, the shame of the family. So you need to be married off. And so I hear this all the time, my friends. And that's where I also feel that is really problematic, not just for young girls, but also for young boys. That they
Yeah.
have to leave school and suddenly they have this responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, had someone taught them about protection or safe sex, about saying, no, you can say no if you're not ready, not from peer pressure, the narrative, my friends would have a different life.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's really unfortunate teen pregnancy, unwanted.
Completely. No, and I have some facts here because I was just kind of looking it up, like what are the repercussions of the way we've been doing things for so long, and it's like 18,000 teenage pregnancies every year, 100 cases of baby
Is that
dumping.
right?
Yeah,
18,000 seems a lot.
18,000.
That's
I
like-
feel like it seems so little.
Is it? Okay.
But then-
That's like, think about it, that's like 10 plus a day, right?
That's
Right?
all right, actually.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all
That's
right.
about right.
Sounds about right. And then 100 cases of baby dumpings and at least 3,000 rape cases. And these are reported rape cases. You don't even, I bet it's like in a number that's going to be scary for most of us to
Was
hear.
that 3,000 a year?
Yeah, a year.
Oh,
That's
dear.
way less.
Way less, I think.
Oh,
And I think that the ways that we talk about it now, like, oh, we didn't know how to have sex, and for us maybe we were lucky enough to never have such negative side effects of not learning about sex. But for some people, and I've read one too many stories for my comfort about this, about girls and boys who are young who have been like molested or raped or sexually assaulted by their parents friends, like people in their life, but they didn't know because they didn't have sex education. And the minute they kind of heard someone talking about it at school, they're like, wait, you're not supposed to let them touch you there and this and that. And you're just like, if they had been 7 and someone had just told them, these parts of your bodies, they're yours. They're yours to decide if you want to give it to someone. And at this age, you don't have the mental capacity to do so, this and that. Maybe these things wouldn't have happened to them, and not to blame them. Of course, it's not their fault, but it could have aided a situation that at least they would have known what's happening to them. I can't imagine how it would be to be a child and just you don't know what's happening to you, but it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I think more less cases aside as well, there's also like flashing. Like I remember a lot of my friends went through like when they were younger, they were flashed by like strangers and everything. And I think like this whole like flashing, assault or harassment, I mean, it's one step, it's the first step towards a really horrible step, a horrible thing.
Horrible thing that can occur.
So if someone were to empower them in knowledge that this is not right, it will help so much, right? I remember having someone ask me, like, Jasmine, you're talking about sex. Are you encouraging young people to have sex? And I'm just saying, like, young people are going to have sex with or without me there. So if they do have unwanted pregnancies, and then you'll say, like, nobody taught them sex education, is it? So, I mean, that's why sex education is so important, empowering people.
Speaking of getting flashed, even my mom, who's sitting over there, she told me when she was younger, once she got flashed on the train or something like that, I can't remember, but I was just like, oh, that's a thing that happens to a lot of people, and it's not right. It's not right at all. Who wants to see your junk in the middle of the day? I'm trying to get to work.
Yeah, I remember the first time I was flashed was online, like it was on MSN. I think I was like, I don't exactly remember how I have that person on my MSN like contact book, but like I think it was like through like some online games, and then you didn't know. You just thought you thought you are the same age because they talk to you the same way. And then like you got on MSN and then they requested for a video, but of course I covered mine. I was at least smart enough about that. And then like they just started showing the junk. I didn't know what I was looking at first.
I think that's the thing when you're young, you don't know what you're like, what is that?
Yeah, I was like, it looks so wrong, but I didn't know what I was looking at. It's just so hairy, like, and you're just thinking like, what part of the body is that hairy aside from like your head? It just looked wrong.
That's so funny.
And then when I told my parents, they're like, oh, okay. That's not right.
How old were you?
Like 11?
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so it's very, very
You
young.
don't know.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so
just-
there's that.
That's I feel like the way you say it's like with so much innocence, you're like, man, which part of the body is this hairy? Like you really just didn't know, you're just a kid. And I don't understand like why people feel the need to show their genitals to children. Like you're a child. Like even like my mom was just saying earlier that they would flash outside her school and the girls would like scream and run, and obviously that reaction is what got them off. But like these people, like I always never know how to feel about these like people who are like sexually deviant in these ways. Like, do they have to go to jail or do they just have to go for therapy? Like I don't really know how do you fix that, and do you think that if these kind of people were exposed to sex positivity that they wouldn't be like this?
I wanted to touch on what you said about why do they flash young people or young girls or whatever, right? And I think it has something to do with power too.
Yeah.
It's like, young people or children are powerless and they don't understand, and they would of course like have this like, whoa, oh my God, like, reaction versus probably adults who, might be more, assertive, like, what the hell, what the fuck,
who will know that it's wrong.
But unfortunately also, I mean, when it comes to adults too, like I think women, like myself especially, when someone does that, like I just would freeze. I'm like, what do I do, Especially as women and girls, we've been taught ever since we were young to just ignore anyone who like harass you on the street, doing the voice and everything. It took me a long time to understand that is not normal behavior, that it is actually street harassment or sexual assault, harassment. So like now I'm more aware because but when I was younger, I'm always like ignoring, and then it's just really unfortunate that we have to do that.
I went to university in New York, and like I was just like, I remember feeling really scared, like if you're walking alone and they would just like catcall you, and I'd be kind of like, why? I'm not gonna come over and fuck you right now. I'm just gonna go to class. Like you're just scaring me now, and I feel like I have to walk, instead of walking this way, I have to walk all around just to avoid these people. And I just don't get why. I think you're right. It's like that power that they kind of get off, that you're getting scared and you're picking up your pace. And it just always like, every time I think about, I don't know if this is something you ever faced though as a guy.
No one catcalled me in Malaysia. In London, I had that, but just the one time. But catcalling does affect me because my office, that area gets dodgy at night. One time I was with my partner, we were out in town, right, just having fun. And she was wearing something quite revealing. And then there were a bunch of dodgy looking men around us and started catcalling her. And then at that point, I'm like, okay, am I going to have to do something?
You're going to have to square up now.
Yeah, that's why. That's the thing,
Yeah.
Do you hear stories from your friends, from your girlfriends about like catcalling, and how does that make you feel?
Bad. Not good.
Yeah.
Not good. It's your safety at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
Must be
because
scary.
no, you know what I read somewhere, and it's like for women, their fear with men is that they're gonna die.
Mhm.
With guys, their fear is that they're gonna be humiliated,
Rejected.
yeah. And I feel like that is such a stark difference, because I feel like there've been so many situations where I'm scared that I'm gonna die. Someone's gonna
Exactly.
hurt me, and you know, as much as I feel like I'm tough, I can fight. Like, how much can you fight a grown man? You know, when you're just like a 5 foot tall girl, like. How much can you actually do? And I feel like what a stark difference in experience that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel better if you had some pepper spray or a knife in your sock?
I feel like honestly I like to think that I will have all these, like, I'll grab my pepper spray, I'll have my knife, but I feel like I'll just get stunned.
When
and I'll
you're in
freeze.
the moment,
Yeah.
it's scary.
Realistically, like you'll just get stunned most of the time.
Yeah, you freeze. That's why so many people say like that bystander effect is because you're just like, what is happening? Like, I wanna think I would fight, but I just don't think I would.
Because I think pepper spray does help, because like sometimes when I walk along the street, especially when it's dark, like I would just hold it in my bag just in case, you know. Like that's
but
that's
like,
how far we have to go.
No, I was just gonna say, it's like,
to protect ourselves.
yeah, I was just like got so annoyed at my dad. I was like, if you had to live as a woman for even one day on this earth, you would just feel like dying, because you have to think about everything. You have to think about how far you park away from the restaurant because you don't want to walk to your car because it's so late. What if someone grabs you and rapes you? Like, that is literally the fear. And it's the layers. Like, you have to walk holding the pepper spray. That feeling is horrible.
You have to like think about what you want to wear, think about where you're going to go, think about like do I hold rocks, do I carry my keys so that my keys
Like this,
are like
the
kinda,
keys
like,
there. So you have
yeah,
like a...
do you have your pepper spray? Do I have friends that I can call who are like, is this area that I'm comfortable with? There's just like so many things.
And even when you get into your Grab, oh shit, is my Grab driver gonna kill me now?
Yeah,
Exactly.
like I remember like driving, I took the Grab from the airport and I'm like, it was really late at night because my flight got delayed and I was like, oh my god, like is he gonna do something to me because he's like super quiet and we're going through this really dark, like there's so many things you're thinking. It's just so frustrating. And I recently posted something about, you know, like how to not get raped, for example. There was this post, but it was actually for perpetrators, and then someone commented about it, and then I was just like, okay, your comment, but then what, are you like a woman? Are you like a man? Kind of trying to understand. And then they're just like, I'm a guy. So I'm like, okay. So that's why your answers are as such.
Yep.
So.
No,
yeah.
because I feel like the conversation, the thing is like, I also am rational in the sense that like, we do have to still do these things. This is how we have to protect ourselves. The world is not going to change overnight, but maybe having conversations like this will change it. But it's unfortunate that the responsibility is constantly placed on the victim to have done better, and never on the person who's done it to not do it to you. And I just don't understand why.
It's always just, you should have worn more, you should have covered yourself up, you should have, you know, have something to protect you, you know, like...
You shouldn't have been walking alone.
Exactly.
Like, this is my home. Like, what do you want me to do?
When I bring this up with some people who are not, let's say, educated, okay, about sex education and all that, I get some pushback normally. They normally say, well, why is this particular crime treated so specially when, like in the case of a robbery or any other crime, you always go to the victim and say like, oh, you should have avoided this dangerous area. Like, why is it okay in other crimes? Why is this specific crimes? Why is there so much emphasis on this crime? What do you say to them normally? Do you have any good answers to that? Because for other crimes, there's always some kind of mitigation. You know?
No, it's like, you know, if someone breaks your car and takes your handbag, you never put your handbag on the seat. But I feel like, why isn't it the same thing? You know, why don't they treat it as such? I think that the victim blaming across the board needs to stop.
For all these crimes,
Yeah.
right?
But that's kind of a tough question.
It's an interesting take, actually.
Yeah.
Because you mitigate your own safety for other things. What about this one?
Yeah, why is it for this
Yeah.
one we put... But I guess also when it comes to people violating your space versus violating your body, it is heavier.
There's something about a sexual crime that's a
Yeah.
bit more sinister, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good answer?
Yeah, I
To
think it
reply
is,
them?
because it's like, it's somebody's like, you can move house, you know, you can never really leave this body when someone violates it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, because it doesn't matter what you wear, you can cover from head to toe and you'll still get harassed or assaulted.
Yeah.
So like, you know, even if you take those lengths to avoid like crimes, this kind of things to happen to you, it will still happen, like, as opposed to, you know, don't leave your bag on, you know, passenger seat when you leave your
driving,
car.
yeah.
Like, those things might actually prevent people from robbing you, but
Nothing
covering up-
prevents a rapist from doing what they
exactly.
plan to do. Yeah.
This conversation is making me sad.
Okay, wait. Okay, wait.
But it's important.
Yes,
Yes.
very much so.
And I also wanted to ask you guys, I'm not sure which one of you added this about how like having sex and our honor. I think, was it you, Jess? That you added it to the, or was it you? Or was it you?
That's scary.
Somebody added it.
I know, I saw that.
Somebody added it to my sheet. But I think this is an interesting point because for so long girls have seen the higher body count, you're a slut. Guys,
Oh, I hate that.
you know,
The
fuck 100
higher.
girls.
I love sluts.
He's good in
I
bed.
love
Exactly.
sluts.
Sluts are the best.
Yeah. But why is that? How
Oh
do
my
you
god,
feel
I
about
went
that?
deep into this. Like why men believe it. Have you heard of the manosphere, red pill? Do these
Oh,
terms?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's these bunch of guys who think they've cracked how to get women, be with women. And I can see how the way they think it might be effective, but it's very shallow, and I think it's very it dehumanizes women the way I see it. It's very like first level. There are
Become
ways.
artists, right?
Yeah, exactly. There are ways to bond with people, you know, like beyond this lust and all
Yeah.
that. And I think they miss that completely. But okay, they cite. I apologize, I can't give you the citation of that particular study, but they'd
That's
love to
fine.
bring this up, where the higher the woman's body count, the less likely she is able to pair bond. Okay?
Okay.
They love to bring that up. Now, you see the
one
shock
more,
faces here. No, I need to preface this by saying I don't believe this for a second. Why?
Okay.
Because I've dated plenty of sluts. And they're great, to be honest. Like, in fact, the more prudish ones are the ones I've had a tough time with. In general, okay, I'm generalizing.
We don't want to shame the prudish ones.
Correct. But in my case,
We love a celibate queen, okay?
is that what they're called? Celibate queens?
No, I just made that up.
Oh, okay.
Prudish queens,
Nice. Celibate queen. But when I think about that study, there are many things wrong with it. Disability to pair bond. How do you even quantify
Sorry,
it?
what is pair bonding?
It's when you emotionally connect and bond and sort of attach and imprint to someone.
Oh, in print. That's so weird. They will use that word. It's
Let's take out that word.
it's very
No,
dehumanizing,
it just
but
makes me
interesting.
wonder, like, why, like, if we can do that with so many friends, why can't we do that with so many people that we...
You see, these are all good questions, which
Yeah.
is why when I think about the study, the more I think, oh, that doesn't make sense. What are you talking about?
So
You
they
know?
basically, like in layman's term, they basically say the more you have sex as women, the more people you have sex with, you are not capable of finding someone who you can connect with emotionally.
Yes, so being loyal and staying
you just
through
don't
a
have those
marriage.
skills, yeah.
But this is only for women, but not
Yeah.
for men.
No.
Huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
specifically women. But they say for men the opposite is true.
Of course
So
it
you
is.
see how that's so
I want
convenient.
to know who made this study.
So it's like if your partner has
You
a
know
lot
what?
of sex.
For your next one, I'll just give you the material. You can ask your guests to like study it, and then you can talk about it.
But no, I just feel like that really just further reinforces this preconceived standard that women's body count must be below 5. If not, you're a whore and you will never get a husband. And with men, you know, you can fuck up 100 girls and it just makes you like a hotter guy.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
for men, sex is always about taking, and for women, it's always about giving. It's
Yeah.
how people have that conversation. You know, you're losing your virginity to this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, men say the same thing. Like, I lose my virginity to someone else, but it's always about like when we talk about sex. Like when it comes to men and women, men always take. So like, in
I mean,
that
even
sense,
like biologically.
Yeah. So in that sense,
Yeah.
they feel like they, you know, it's an honorable thing to have high body counts. And for women, you're just giving away yourself again and again and again. And like the more you give away yourself, like the less you
The
value.
less
yeah.
that there is left.
Probably that's a correlation to the study. The
Yeah.
more you give, the more you can't give anymore, and therefore you can't
Exactly.
be loyal.
So there's some sort of bar for us to reach. Like once we reach this bar, we just are incapable of connecting anymore. It's like
But it's also like a very interesting thing to look at men too, like the pressure that men have towards like having a higher body count and
Yeah.
having sexual, you know, like oh, if you have more, it means like you're like really like
toxic
but like
masculinity.
yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
I can touch on that. So
Yeah.
statistics came out from Tinder. 80% of the matches, 80% of women match with the top 20% of men. 8% of
that's just
women,
this
they,
that like
all 80% of women want to match with these let's call them top tier, right? 20% of men. And the rest of the men, they find a very hard time on Tinder in general. And that's the pushback I get when I have these kind of conversations. It really makes me think. They say, okay, but as a man, to get laid is a lot harder. You've heard this before, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it's something I have no... I'm sure you have an answer. Go on. She seems ready to pounce. She's giving me the death stare.
No, go ahead.
Not my point of view.
Finish first. And then
Nah,
I
I'm
say.
done. I'm ready now.
but-
Scold me.
Please.
No, I want to hear.
Yeah. So the point is the self-esteem. I think it affects a lot of men, and I've been.
Did
I've
you feel
been
that
there.
when you were growing up?
Yeah, look, I had a lot of acne when I was 15. I didn't feel desirable. I had low self-esteem, and then I don't know. Call it what you want, but something happened, and then I felt better about myself, and then I never had a problem dating after that. But the vast majority of my peer group have, as a human, you have this desire to bond with someone, and a lot of men find it difficult. A lot of this is anecdotal, just my peer group. A lot of women don't have that problem, but they have a problem of being taken care of emotionally, like being used, pumped and dumped emotionally, physically, all that. Almost all my friends, it seems, but at least they have someone to bond with. I'm not saying it's better to have someone than they get broken by it, but like men, a lot of my peer group, they just are lonely. It's because they fall out of that 20%. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so like I was actually talking to a lot of, so I am actively on dating apps right now. So I've been on dating apps on and off the past 10 years. And so like quite recently I've been on dating apps, I've been meeting all these different men. And then a lot of the times, and this makes me so sad because a lot of the guys that I talked to, the main thing they said was, I actually haven't hugged someone for a really long time. I actually haven't hugged someone, or I feel really lonely, understandable because COVID. But a lot of them said like I've never had like human interaction or like physical touch or like for the longest time. And also yes, like what you said, Harriet, like a lot of guys face a lot of insecurities being on these dating apps, right? Like your whole being is just being rejected sucks.
No, and also with dating apps, it's literally like it's a catalog of people. Like I think you're hot, I think you're not.
Yeah.
Like it's just so.
It's very superficial.
Yeah.
It's just your picture.
Yeah.
But you may have like a fucking amazing personality.
Yeah, it's
but then
literally
it
like
doesn't translate.
I feel like it's like the one part of you that you have literally no control over that people are judging you for.
Yes. And also, I think for women, as someone who is a user of dating apps, I mean, for me, it's always like, okay, what do they want from me? Like, do I feel safe with this person? Or can I connect with them intellectually or emotionally before something, Because I'm always like, what are they searching for? And do I feel safe? Is this what I want? Kind of thing.
I want to ask you something. If the guy lays it out on the table first date, how do you feel normally?
I love it.
Yeah?
But I think it's better to
Really?
be just frank and honest, but do it so in a way that's kind and nice.
Like, you don't have to be a dick about it.
No, you don't have to be like, hey bitch, I want to fuck you. You can be like, let's hang out, and if we're feeling the vibes, and we can go to your place. You can put it in a way that makes you feel like, okay, if I feel up for it, maybe I will have sex with this guy, and if not, I will just say bye.
So like I had this one message to like this person, and it was just really like we were talking for a while, and then we had like such a pleasurable, like really nice conversation on like message. And then after that, he's like, okay, like I just want to let you know, to be honest, I'm actually searching for something casual, and I just want to hook up. Are you okay with it? If you're not okay with it, totally understandable. And I'm like, yeah, like thank you so much for telling me. I'm probably not in a space to hook up right now because I'm searching for something serious, but I really appreciate that.
Yeah, at least he was honest with you. And I think that is really the goal of sex positivity as well, is communicate. Like, I just realized that like a simple question, like, what are you searching for? Like he said that to you, or even if you're already in that place to have sex, like what do you like? That question alone, I feel like changes everything. And people are so afraid to ask for what they want and to communicate in dating and in sex. And I feel like if we kind of try to educate people that in doing so, you're going to have better sex, you're going to have better connections, you're going to feel more fulfilled. Hopefully more people will be willing to talk about it. Because I realize like the best sex that I've ever had is with people who ask me, what do I like?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. A lot of fuckboy culture is that, from what I can see. It's this guy trying to sneak his way in, but not saying anything. And it's this girl wanting
Something
serious, or maybe at least...
It's just a validation.
Yeah,
from
validation,
someone,
feeling like you care,
like,
but not
yeah.
saying it. So they hang out, and then
Yes.
she gives us... they have sex, and then she ends up getting hurt, and then he just
Yeah.
continues on his rampage.
And he's just like, it's not my fault,
Yeah.
it's not my problem, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
continue. And then both sides are like, I mean, they're valid in whatever they're saying.
Yeah.
But if only they had like an open communication of just what
Yeah.
exactly are you searching for. I know sometimes it gets like, I get really tired whenever someone says, Jasmine, what are you looking for? What are you looking for here? And I'm just like, read my profile, but
Oh, it's all in your profile.
it's all in my, I am really, so when I first started my profile again, when I started dating, I was so afraid to like really put it out there. Am I asking too much, right? And I'm like,
No. Ask what you want, babe.
that.
Ask
Like,
for the world.
I'm just gonna
Kidding
say
me?
what I want.
Yes.
If you don't like
It's a shopping cart.
if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I wish that was something I had known earlier as well, that like you can just ask for what you want. I was having a conversation with my sister last night, and she was talking with this guy, and she just like just like saying all these things, and I was like, bitch, if you like him, tell him. If you don't, tell him, and let
Yeah.
that be that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be doing all these things because it's harder on you. It just is. I know it's hard to have a conversation. I can be very passive aggressive. I can be like avoid a confrontation like anything else. But once you do it, everything actually becomes better.
There's this quote: "Don't have relationship problems with someone you're not in a relationship
Yeah.
with." Like,
That's a good one.
right?
Yeah.
Like
That's a good
with my casual partner, like I was just like, there's one time I was like so unhappy, but I'm like, why am I having relationship problems? I'm not even in a relationship with him. This is frustrating.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because it feels one-sided at times. Like you don't even know if they care about you the same level as you do.
Yeah, and
So it's just better
yeah,
to
exactly. And what
lay
I
it
was
out.
saying to my sister is, if you go to them and you're like, hey, I like seeing you, I like what we've been doing, do we want to keep this casual? Do we want to turn it something serious? I just want to know. And he's like, what the fuck? Then I was
Wait,
like,
did that happen, or is this
no,
a hypothetical?
hypothetical. So I said,
Oh.
if he reacted like that, he's not for you.
Yeah,
He's not even worth your time if he's not going to listen to you and is immediately going to be reactive versus responsive.
Yeah, here's a pro tip. If someone asks you, what are we? It means they have feelings for you.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Like if you're in a casual relationship, it's like, oh, what are we? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, we've been talking for quite a while now, and I really don't want this conversation to end. But I mean, what are like some other things if you guys want to bring up or talk about in terms of sex positivity? I feel like maybe 1 hour is not long enough.
For sure. This is a very long conversation, and
Yeah.
I think again a lot of misconception about sex positive is that people will think that you are hyposexual.
Yeah.
Like if you want to even advocate for pleasure, just sex positivity in general, or sex education in just sex education alone, they'll think that you just you're hyposexual and all you want to do is just have sex, fuck,
Yeah.
and that's it. They don't try to understand where you're coming from. Yeah, so I think that's one of the biggest misconception, and that's why it's so hard to like get it to the majority of people.
Yeah, to push it, because
Yeah.
when I think, especially in our Asian culture, the minute you hear the word sex, because like it's shame, therefore we're just gonna kill the conversation.
Exactly.
We're not even gonna push it. Maybe we can give it another word, but I don't really want to give it another word. Like just accept it. We all have,
Exactly.
everybody has sex. Like it's not something to be shy about.
Yeah. And also like sex positivity, you don't have to have sex
Exactly.
to be sex
Yeah.
positive.
Yes.
You can be religious, not religious, or sexual, non-sexual. You can be sex positive as long as you think that education, especially around sexual empowerment,
And consent.
Yeah.
is very important, then you are sex positive, right? Because even people who are very sexual, who have so many experience, are not sex positive. They are out there,
Exactly.
they're shaming, oh my god, you've never had sex before, oh my god, girl.
That
You
is
have
not
sex.
right either.
No, that's not
Yeah.
right either. You're not being respectful, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what sex positivity is about, is being respectful with people's decision, whatever that may be, whether they want to wait
Yeah.
until after marriage, before marriage, like whether they even are sexual in the first place, because we have asexuality, and that's something
Exactly.
we rarely talk about, asexuality, and you
a
think
whole
there's
spectrum.
something wrong
Yeah, it's a whole
with us.
spectrum.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's what I want to talk about, sex positivity.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's one of the biggest reasons why it's so hard to promote that in our country specifically is that they'll think that we are promoting sex before marriage, and in this
Yeah.
country, it's wrong.
Yeah.
So there's also
Yeah.
that.
Or unnatural sex.
Unnatural. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Sex without
Without
like
conception in mind.
yes.
Is that unnatural sex?
Oh yeah, or
Nice.
Just queer sex.
or like kinky
queer
being
sex.
kinky,
Oh my god,
queer,
people never. We could do a whole episode on
BDSM.
kinks, but like people literally never talk about kinks and how people feel so ashamed to talk about that. Like they literally think they're like these creepy people, but like no, it's normal. Everybody has their little kinks and fetishes, and isn't it what makes sex interesting?
Or even if you're
Makes
vanilla,
life
that's
interesting.
okay.
yeah.
Be a bit
What did
different.
you say?
Even if you only enjoy vanilla sex,
Straight
Yeah,
out.
that's
If
fine,
missionary is all for you, then you know
Right.
what? That's
Yeah.
good.
As long as you're happy, you know.
Yeah, as long as
yeah.
you're happy, I think that's what we hope to get across in this episode is that like sex positivity, whether you're having sex, whether you're not having sex, like whatever it is, you should feel comfortable to do so. And sex, if you're someone who wants to have it, is something that is so beautiful and a wonderful part of life. It's not something to feel shame. It's something you should feel happy about if you have had good sex and if you are having good sex. So something you can always work on and talk about, and hopefully that, you know, more people will be having better sex. I guess that's what we all kind of want, right?
what about you, Harit?
What about me?
What do you think of the whole sex positive movement in our
Oh,
conversation?
I think it's got a uphill battle because you need to take into the context that Malaysia is a very religious country.
Exactly.
But I wish people would take your point of view, which I thought was a good one. You know, just you can be religious and sex positive. We're not telling you to go and fuck everyone and everything. We just it's about education,
Yeah.
empathy. Hopefully, that's this idea of consent. It's something we're not really taught, right?
Yeah.
You can be sex positive and stay virgin till you're married.
Yeah.
We would
Oh, you
support
can
that.
literally be sex positive and asexual.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Never have
sure,
sex.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was sex positive when I was really young. I mean, I didn't know what it is, but I just find it really problematic that girls are shamed to like dress a certain way, and then boys have this like unrealistic standards of like you need to have sex right now, otherwise you're forever doomed to be forever alone. I just thought there was something wrong with that, and ever since I was young, I was challenging that. I'm like, why?
And it goes in direct opposition of each other. Boys must have sex, girls must not have sex. So who do boys have sex with if they're
Each
straight?
other.
You know, each other, exactly.
Yeah.
And also to teach boys about consent too,
For
because
sure.
I mean that's the main thing that we always preach about girls and women to talk about consent, but also men and boys have to have this conversation that it
Yeah.
is important for you to know your boundaries and for you to
100%.
give consent and for you to ask.
How do you say
for
consent in BM?
consent.
That's a problem.
No, there's a name for
See?
that in the law.
Ah,
In the law, there is a name. Cannot remember. I actually did a post about this.
we'll circle back.
But yeah, I mean, consent is not something you say yes and it's yes forever. It's yes for right now. In 5 minutes, if you change your mind or your partner changes your mind, that's it. Stop.
I've heard a lot of pushback about that. Like what does that mean? Why is it so vague? And then I'm just
I
like,
feel
come
like
on,
it's
it's
not
common sense,
vague.
man.
If
yeah.
someone says please stop, just stop.
Mhm.
That's not.
Or someone even would not say please stop, but you can see in their body,
Body
language.
language.
Yeah.
If you're not sure, it's a no.
Yes.
Exactly.
I
I love
If
that.
it's not a definite yes, it's a no.
I love that.
Yeah, and consent is a full body experience. It's not just about saying yes or no, because you can
Sometimes
say
you're scared.
you can say no, but you mean no.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like yes,
Exactly.
You know, and you can say yes, but then you'll be like, okay, sure.
Oh, yeah, you don't want
know?
it. Okay, you want to like yes.
Yeah, or you know, so like it's a full body consent is a full body experience.
The pushback I get is so I gotta be some kind of mind reader. So like let's say someone says, no, stop it. Like, you know, then they complain about that. And then I say, yeah, I guess. Then if you don't have the emotional intelligence to understand what someone means, then maybe
you're not old enough to have sex or
No,
mature
actually,
enough to
if
have
you
sex.
Tricky.
for me, it's like if you are not sure, then you know it's a no.
that could be a good
I feel
rule,
like that's
right?
a
Yeah.
really, really good
Yeah.
rule.
So it's better to just try to like if it's better to not like
Not
doubt
push,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You shouldn't have any doubt with someone's yes that they want to be there, they want to be doing this with you. Okay, so before we end, Miss Lith has brought some amazing products from Arosu, which we're gonna have play a little game.
How did it like awake?
Ready? So we're gonna go one by one. We have some
Oh.
blindfolds here.
Kinky.
Oh.
Okay, so I guess
I
Lith-
consent.
I know all your toys already though.
So we're just gonna we'll go one by one. Maybe Jess, you wanna go first?
No, wait, Harit.
Okay, Harit first. Harit,
What
wear
do you
your
want me to do?
blindfold,
Oh, okay.
and then you're gonna pull one out.
Oh wait, do I have to blindfold? Because then
No, one by one. Let him go first.
Oh, there's one with two parts though.
You can let him know to pull out the second part. Okay.
okay. Pull out Harit.
Oh dear.
You gotta guess what it is.
I knew it. It's always the biggest one.
Okay, I know exactly what this is.
What is it?
It's a thing. It's like a super vibrator dildo thing. This is for the clitoris,
Oh.
right? This goes inside the vagina. This is a handle grip, but you could
Wow.
Can you
maybe
turn it
also
on?
use the handle grip.
Oh.
I don't recommend it, but
she doesn't
you pretty
recommend
much
it.
nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you turn it on?
There's a button.
You need time, baby. Some of them need time. Oh,
I can help you. Like
there's
turn
no
it on.
battery.
There is. You just have to hold it down.
Hold it. No. No.
Yeah, you can.
Hold the button down.
Do I have consent to hold you down?
You can take off your blindfold, lah.
whisper.
I can take it off.
Okay, all right, let's go to Jess next.
okay.
Ready?
Okay. As Harriet is trying to hold.
As he tries to turn the vibrator on. All right, it's right
This
here.
button. Just hold it down.
Oh.
Oh, it's a penis ring. It's a cock ring.
Oof. Yes.
Damn, she
It's
did
a
that
vibrating
fast.
cock ring, and
Yeah.
then this is for the clit. Oh, this
Turn it
is so
off, please.
good. Okay, yes.
Yeah, you're right. Completely nailed it.
But what's the thing here for?
Oh, this is a bullet vibrator here.
So yes.
Oh, for him.
Him
Yeah,
and her.
Him and her.
Or
It can
whoever.
be used for solo as well. So like actually this part you can wear it like this or like this. If you wear it like this part can stimulate the testicles basically.
Ah.
But if you wear it like this or like pointing out, then you can when you are having partner sex with another person, then you can stimulate the other person. So
Okay,
it can be
that's
used solo
fun.
and partner.
That's really fun. Okay, this is my
you
turn.
join?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
hold it for
okay.
me. This is some plush.
I know, it's like really.
I can't see anything. Okay. Oh. I don't know what I. Oh my god, is this
Oh,
like
no.
a remote control vibe? What am I? No,
Yes.
is this a remote control?
Yeah, you're right. Everyone nailed it today.
What is this?
It's a magnet.
Oh, okay, wait, I'm gonna take this off.
To put in your panties.
Yeah.
The magnet or the other thing? No.
This is a.
So basically, you clip it on the panty.
Oh, put it on Harriet's.
Put it on.
Panty?
No, Harriet's like collar.
Yeah, go on.
Yep.
And then how do I turn it on?
So hold down the button here. And then you see a light. Behold, this is kind of strong.
Oh my god, can we have all the toys and turn them on? Oh wow.
Oh my god, that's
No
loads of
wonder
fun.
they're always screaming.
Alright,
Is
guys.
there no low setting? Is this the low?
I can't turn it off. I just press it.
I don't.
Hold it down.
Is there a lower? Is there a different? Okay. So
Yeah, there's different
versions.
rhythms, so it's incredibly strong for something so small.
Yeah, that it was jumping on the table.
Can you imagine if you wear this and your partner wear this or whoever to the to the mall, to the supermarket, and suddenly like turn on and they're like,
You wouldn't be able to. You would
Oops,
just.
tying my shoes.
All right, guys. But I think we're gonna wrap it there.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Seriously, thank you guys so much. This was such a fun conversation. I wish we could go on for much longer.
Yeah.
But guys, please like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and please stay safe and stay well. Bye.
Bye bye.